Well, good evening. It is your host for Whole Woman TV Late Night Drip, Marceline Williams. And today I have a dynamic guest. You do not want to move from your sofa, your chair, your bed, wherever you may be. Ladies, when I tell you to go ahead on and grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your wine, whatever you want in your glass, it's up to you because it's going to be a evening that I'm quite sure a lot of you will be able to relate to. This lady is a phenomenal woman. She is a dynamic lady. She's a mother. She is so jazzy. When I tell you she jazzy, she jazzy. She's natural like me, although today I'm in Lisa. But Lisa okay sometime, right? But she is jazzy. She is one of Memphis' finest crossing guards. And I just love her. I really do. And I've known her a long time. I actually graduated with one of her daughters. And when I tell you, you are in for a treat, you are in for a treat. Just realizing that did the system fail you and your family, and you never had the opportunity to say how you feel about it? It's time to make some changes. And we're going to start with her. So, welcome my guest as I bring her to the stage on tonight. How you doing?
I am doing fine, young lady. And how in the world are you?
Woo! I look. I'm gonna say like they say, and this is what I heard from my aunt and my uncle years ago. They said I take tolerable. I'm gonna take tolerable up on level 10 because I'm doing great.
Fabulous,
Tell
fabulous,
the audience,
fabulous. I love to hear that.
fabulous. Yeah. Tell the audience your name, where you from, and then we'll go from there.
Well, my name is Shirley Stringer, and I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, even though I've lived other places in other cities and other states. And I am a crossing guard, as you mentioned. And the thing about it is, I am so thankful. God is good to me. I thank Him for saving me. I am a work in progress, but life is wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm a grandma, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, I'm a great grandmother. I am just really having a great time dealing with my family and the people that I love.
That is great. That is great. So you say you lived in some other areas, and it's something else I did not mention. I totally forgot, but it was just brought back to my memory. But where else have you lived also?
I lived in Chicago and I lived in Detroit for a few years. I've traveled around, quite a bit. As a matter of fact, what I want to talk about today has a lot to do with what stopped me from doing my, what can I say, cruising and looking at other parts of the world other than just what's right, right around me. I love that. I love seeing something
Okay. So you love
besides
to travel.
what's right. Huh?
I said, so you love to travel.
Oh, yeah, I do. I love to fish. I am I am probably very unusual for my age and for my gender.
That's okay. That's okay. Every person, each and every one of us have our own unique identity. And that is perfectly
Exactly.
okay. So you do know I love to fish too. I can fish from
Yes, you
sun
do.
up to sundown. But there's something else I forgot that you have been in plays, theatrical.
Oh, yes. I've been in plays. As a matter of fact, I very teasingly say I played Bessie Smith before Queen Latifah got near it, downtown on Beale
Ah,
Street. Got a review about it, and it was very good, and I enjoyed that. Did quite a few plays with the people in the neighborhoods that church type things like that. I enjoyed just being out there and just enjoying myself, doing something other than sitting, if I say it like that.
Right. Right. Other than sitting. That's absolutely right. So travel, theatrical,
Sing,
fishing. You have any
singing.
trips coming soon? Sing. Wait a minute, singing.
No, I don't. Yes. I
No sing.
sang. Baptist had a choir that was called the Shades of Ebony. And we would go everywhere. Stephen Reynolds was the president of Baptist at that time, the CEO. And we did a lot of things with him. And like I say, I just love to do things. Sitting is not on my repertoire.
I know that's right. I know that's right. So, okay, you have how many grandsons you have?
Four. I have, let's see,
Four.
one, two, three, four. Because I include
Okay, you have
my
four grandsons.
granddaughter. Yes, I include my granddaughter's husband because he is a dynamic man. Oh my goodness. He is a dynamic man. And
Oh
I've
yeah.
learned to love him. He's my grandson, so I have four.
Okay, that's good. So one of your grandsons seems like we had some issues probably at a young age.
Yes. Yes, he was around the
Okay.
age. Well, to be honest, I guess you could say from the time that he was like so many weeks old when he first came into my life, inadvertently, not intentional. He showed up on my doorstep with his father. And I was very surprised
Oh,
and asked him, "What are you doing with that baby?" This is my son. Of course, he called me. He was not living with me at that time. And he wanted to come back for a minute and be there. That was fine, but had no idea that bundle of joy was going to be at the doorstep with him. So my incidents with him started from him being just a baby in arms. My son
mm. So
decided
this was
that,
your son.
yes, my son's son, yes.
Oh, so did he actually? So pretty much at an early age, you said some weeks old, he pretty much obtained custody of the baby at that time.
No, he did not. He was very, I've always been the type that I won't push you, I will see what's going on. And that's the way it was. He showed up. I'm like, what are you doing? This is my son, and I'm going to raise him. And okay, that was fine with me. I was through with it at that point. And I assisted him. What I really
Mm-hmm.
like about it is he actually raised his son. I actually assisted him. And the only reason that I ended up assisting more is because every time I turned around, he was calling me to pick him up from somewhere where he was left by his other.
Okay.
I'll say, yes, okay. And so, with that being like that, it
Okay.
happens so often, it stopped me from doing things that I normally was doing at that time. I cruising, other things. So I jumped in to assist him. And I really like to prove
Oh,
that point. I did not raise my grandson, I assisted. But because I
okay.
had to stop in the middle of things, go get him. He's over there. He's been left over there. Can you go get him? So that's how I really got involved. Then it
Okay.
ended up
So in
being
other
sort of a
words, it's not that it was a interruption in your life. It was more or less that because someone else maybe did not pick him up or do what was expected. You had to assist your son and make it happen, correct?
Exactly. Correct. Very correct.
Okay, okay.
Very correct. As a matter of fact, that's an issue how we migrated to this point where he was people would talk about him in the neighborhood because they would see him with his son. I remember one time he I came home from work and I peeped in the room where he was because he didn't take him to daycare. He kept him when he could in the daytime and when he was real small. And I think I took a picture of him lying on his daddy's chest. His dad sleep, and he had him on would have him on his chest. I would come home from work, and all I had to do was feed him. The formulas were made, everything was done. I just had to be there. So that's why I pressed that issue about I only assisted. We went to court one time and took
That's
the
right.
baby to court with him. I think it was something with his license, and the judge accused him. Oh, so you bought this baby so you can get out of trouble. Whose child is this? And he said he told the judge, "This is my son." And where I live, I could walk to the court, so I brought him with me rather than to give him to somebody. But this is the way they were.
Wow. Okay, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. So, again, you are listening today to the special guest, Shirley Stringer, who says that the system failed her family, and she's talking about her grandson. I want to personally welcome you out, all authors in Memphis, Tennessee, to our Memphis Authors Exhibition, Expo, Book Festival, indie film premieres, magazine release, podcasts, and TV shows happening right in the beautiful Germantown, Tennessee on August the 10th, 2024 at the Great Hall. For more information, please visit Eventbrite and register for this free event. All right, we're back. Okay, Shirley. So tell us during the times that you had to actually assist with um, picking up your grandson, how did that make you feel as a grandmother? I think
Repeat
it's a
that for me.
delay on the internet. Sure. During the time that you were picking up your grandson as a grandmother, how did that make you feel knowing that someone else did not make him a priority?
Of course, it made me feel very, 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 very concerned about his what was going to happen to him as he got older. That was a big concern of mine because people don't realize things you do to children when they're small. Even you think a 3-year-old is not thinking a 2-year-old. They are. They are very wise. And I was just really concerned that he wasn't getting what he should have been getting from the other side.
Absolutely. So, how often did this happen? How long did it happen before you all actually decided to intervene? And I believe at the moment you all wanted to fully have him in your possession.
Well, basically, he was in our possession 95, 98% of the time. And I would always tell my son,
Oh,
you need to go get custody of that baby. You need to go down there and do that. And so finally there was some type of he was like about third grade, fourth grade, and some type of interaction, inappropriate interaction happened between the mother and the father. And he decided to do that. and he got custody of him. God was good. He instructed us exactly what to do and how to go at it. And there was no lawyer present, and he got custody of his son. It was just awesome.
Without
But we
attorney.
had to go in and have a repeat that for me.
Oh, I just said without an attorney. The judge gave him custody.
Yes. Yes, because God was good. He instructed us exactly what to do and how to go at it in a way to, you got to prove when you go to court, you've got to prove your case beyond a reasonable shadow of a doubt. And so that was done. It went over really well. The judge could see that, we had a lot of information, notarized information from other people, teachers, pastors, the daycare person that took care of him. Because see, at the time when we did that, it put me in a position where I had to go and get him a lot, just every day. And the father was paying for the support of him at the daycare. And so all of these people were very good about just being honest, and it helped a whole lot. He was a watchdog at the school, and they all knew him, but they knew nothing of the other person. Had never seen the other person, didn't even know if the other person existed.
Wow. And I bet, like you said, that it happened. And the reason why the judge gave him custody is probably because of the incidents that was taking place. And, the judge probably said, well, at the best time, it's best that he remain with the father. And I bet that, a lot of people, that's what they actually go through. But then is it at some point that the baby was then taken away from the father?
Well, the reason why my biggest problem is that they failed him is when we did go to court for the appeal, of course, the mother appealed, and we went back to court. Now, the first time we went, we were told by the judge to bring this for the appeal, to bring the offspring, bring the young man. He was 10, almost 11. But when we got to court, it went terribly. Oh my goodness. He had a therapist because we felt like he needed to have a therapist. And they wouldn't even let her speak or talk. They decided that they wanted them to compromise. And though he was willing to compromise, that never worked out. So said, well, let's go to court and figure this out. But when I was the first witness, and the judge immediately said he wanted to hear anything we had to say. He listened to the other side. And I was made the culprit. Your mother is rearing your son. And when I wanted to speak and tell them why I was so much in, didn't want to hear anything I had to say. We didn't get our day in court. But that's not so much my issue. But I didn't get my day in court. They failed this child who should never have been removed from somewhere that he'd been for 10, 11 years. That's child abuse. It's in the law book. The therapist knew it. And so that's why I say they failed him. It should have been about him. Everything should have been about him. And it wasn't. And so what was bad, go ahead.
No, you were saying that the judge did not allow you to speak at all. He didn't want to hear what you had to say.
He did not want to hear what I had to say.
I wonder if that would have been different if you would have had your own attorney, even though
we
you
did.
had a therapist.
We had an attorney. had an attorney, and that didn't work out very well. He was, I guess I could say, our representation was not the best that it should have been. But the thing about it was, the others had an attorney who immediately accused me that, well, you were signing his papers, you were doing this, and you were doing that. And all I needed to do was explain, and it would have been very clear because I would save his papers for him to sign. I would not, the only way I would end up signing it is just had to not get him. And he went to the school and dealt with his son. And I was only there when he be could be there. But what they did, they said, okay, your mother is interfering. She's the head here. And not only can you can't pick him up. If you can't pick him up and take him to school, I was totally put out. I couldn't deal at all. You can't do it. You can't get him. So the other side, instead of okay, we're going to figure out how to still have him around people that he normally would be around. That didn't happen. He was excuse me if I go into tears, but one of the ladies that was in the daycare that after all of this got done, they would call me. He's not. No one's come to pick him up. They knew me because they dealt with me for years. When you come and get him, we're closing, and I'm like, okay. So I went, and I want you to know that I was accosted on the steps of the school by the other party. You're going to jail. You're gonna go to jail, and I'm like, this is the type of stuff he went through, and he's there hearing this. And so I backed away, and when people would call me, Miss Stringer, Kristen George is out here, it's raining, are you going to pick him up? And finally let them know I'm no longer. So that's why I say they failed him. He still went through things that should not have been happening to him because they fixed it where the other party had the power to stop us. I'm at a program. He's sitting right there. And he's looking over his shoulder at me, and he can't say, hey, Grandma, he can't run over and grab Grandma and hug her. They failed him. They put him in a situation where it should never have been like that for him. And of course, now the next step that you will go to would take so long for it to come about and to be addressed. So how do you go to court and a judge tell you he don't want to hear anything you got to say? I'm like, oh my goodness. But God is good. We still got a chance to do some talking to him after he got a little bit older. He would call, and then he would as he got older, he would want to come around. But I know he has some problems too, but thank God, not as bad as he could have. He's a very intelligent young man. He's in college right now.
Okay.
And I always made sure, I always told him.
Did you ever get the opportunity to talk to him about what happened, and he told you how that made him feel all those years?
Yes, he did. As a matter of fact, I'm very good at listening to him. Right now, he will call me and talk to me. Yes, he did. As a matter of fact, along the way, he will get a chance to tell me things. One time, he told me, Grant, well, I'm just open, and anybody that doesn't want to hear can cut me off. Oh, Granny, I am just yelling and screaming and stuff. I'm not used to that. And when he became a teenager, he would want to come over to get some peace. So he would come to Granny's house and go this day. But he has he will have lifelong scars. People don't realize when you do, children should be the center of juvenile court, not the mother. It should not be
Right.
where we're gonna give the mother, because just because I have a child does not make me a mother. It doesn't work that way. So I'm very upset about it. I'm gonna tell my story. I'm gonna go further with it because I want the system to know. I want Congressman Cohen to know. I want people to know if they're doing this to other people, and they are. What about the child? Let's treat the child with. We'll give him a chance to. You know what it's like when you take a child from a situation where he is in for years and years and years, and then throw him somewhere else without being able to migrate back and forth, back and forth. That is devastating. And
Yes.
I don't know if people think about it, but things happen to you for a reason. And because that happened
One
to
thing
us,
about Yeah, I was gonna say one thing about Shelby County too is that they always project that the child will not be left behind. But in your situation with your family, your grandsons, he was not at the top of being left behind because of what they decided to do. It caused him to be traumatized for years to come, not knowing what effect it was actually going to take on him. And then you, as a grandmother, not realizing that you are in your grandson's life when we have, it's true, we do have grandparents that are not in their grandchildren's life, but you are there as a positive role model, a positive grandmother. And then to just snatch it away is traumatized, not only to the child, but also to you. And that's why your story is so important, is so unique, and that the system actually did fail you in more ways than one.
yes. And I don't like being a whiny baby, but I'm more concerned about them failing him, how the scars that he'll have. And sometimes things are not obvious. Scars are not. I can remember the way I am because my father wasn't there. So I'm like, okay, I can learn how to lift the hood and take my oil. I got to learn how to paint. I do all kinds of things that are positive. And God is good. I had to work on myself. I will not be a Noah back because of what happened. Thank God for being. I thank Him for being up here, and I'm so glad that we didn't say mean things about his mother to him and that we were appropriate. I thank God it was God. But the reason he's doing as well as he's doing is thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God. But if they're doing other children like this, do you know? And I cannot emphasize it. It's in the law book. The attorney that I had besides showed it to me. He said, you can get him. They should not move him. If we had been better treatment with each other, it would have been okay. But it put him in a position where you can't be with those people. I'll say it like that. Let me talk to them. And why would you do that? Oh my God. So can you imagine what he went through? And he tells me little things he was telling me about when he how angry he was and how he didn't like girls. And I was like, okay, that's normal that it would, it would show up in ways. But he realized that's not right, and he fixed that. And then he's so cute. He tells me that how independent he is. And he's in college and does not want to come home. I have my own apartment. I'm going to do this and that. And that's how positive effect, but that's a good, part. I'm glad he's not angry and robbing people and stealing cars and,
Right.
and that type of thing. So, but it
Right.
just,
Right.
I'm
That's
angry. I'm angry, Miss Marceline. They're doing this to other children. Do you know that the system says it's better for the child to be with the mother? But I need to look at everything. I need to look at this and say, wait a minute, let me see what's going on. What would be best for this child? Of course, the child needs to be with his mother. Of course. But if you're going to put them somewhere where they're not going to be, the persons are not sensible enough to know, that's his grandma. I need to let him. You should hear some of the
right.
stories that I've had from people. One lady walked up to me. I was crossing guard. I had a second, and she wanted to apologize to me because she had bad mouthed me because she thought I left him.
Mm.
What's wrong with Miss Stringer? Why should they not picking him up? What is? And they had to tell her she apologized to me. I'm sorry, I didn't know. Now this is not me talking. These are
Right.
other people telling me that judge put my grandson in a situation where he was being left again, but he had no rescue. He had no rescue.
Wow.
Oh, oh, that's
He
enough.
had no one.
No
There was no one
rescue.
that was no one actually standing on his defense. And you were standing on his defense, but you didn't even
Exactly.
have the opportunity to say it. Yeah, grandmother is here on your defense, grandson,
No,
but I can't do nothing.
exactly. Because they fix it. And what bothers me is not because it's me. I went, oh my God, they're doing this to people. Here you are, you're sitting in this position, Your Honor. You have this power. Oh my goodness, you're using it inappropriately. Why? Why? Why are you doing that? But
So,
God is good. He
God is good. What would you, because this could be going on right now today with a young child, what would you
it is.
say to, yeah, we know it is, you know, what would you say to anyone that may be in this position? What kind of advice would you give them to move forward to make sure that that child is first, the first priority, the well-being of the child is first, and not necessarily about the actual maternal hood to be with the mother if the mother is not the best at the time, or the paternal hood if the father is not the best at the time? What kind of
Exactly.
advice would you give them?
Well, I did a lot of praying, but faith without works is dead. So I
Yes,
think
it
that you
is.
should be very, very go and find out what the laws say and fight. Don't give up. Keep fighting. And when you go into court, get your your position ready. Do everything that you can to prove that these other persons, whether it's the father or the mother, it doesn't matter, to prove that this is going on, to prove that. But and don't stop. I don't care what goes on. Don't stop. The opportunities that you get to see that child, to be with them, hang in there. Don't give up. Never give up. Keep fighting. Keep fighting
Never
and
give
pray.
up.
That's that's
Never,
that's what we never give up. Do not give up. Don't go and get
never.
complacent and say, well, I've done everything I can. No, you haven't. until you've done it over and over and over. Fight and find out. Get with
Absolutely.
psychologists and let them train you and tell you, because you're going to need that. I went to therapy after that. I had to go to therapy. So you better go to therapy. You too mad. You too angry. I had weird things happen in my life because I go to therapy. Talk to people. Don't go and get in a corner and just sit there and tease and be proactive. Find out what you
Yes.
can do. Don't give up. And as soon as you can, that child is going to be old enough that they'll be able to come to you. Make yourself very available. Make yourself very, very
I
available. And if you can, do not ostracize the other one in a bad way. Because as I told my grandson, your mother was raised in a situation where I'm sure she's a very angry person. And she had stuff from when she was being raised. But at the
right,
same
right.
time, I am not going to forgive you. You can tell me, oh, Miss Shirley, his parents were really mean to him. That's why he steals cars. Well, he's going to have to pay for it. There are
Mm-hmm.
consequences for
Mm-hmm.
your action. That's me, okay? I have
For
empathy
your
for you, but
actions.
not simply because you cannot steal people's
Right.
cars. I don't care what happened to you over here. Let's get you and try to fix you if we can. But you're going to have to.
That's it.
So my thing is see how I go around in a circle?
And I
But
love
do
what
not
you
give
said.
up. Do,
I
do that.
love what you said right there. You said it's no excuse, and you do have consequences for your actions. You may be angry, but come on, let's get rid of this anger. If it takes going to therapy, if it takes going into a treatment center, whatever it may take, let's get rid of this anger so we can get to the
Mhm.
root cause of what has caused the anger. And then let's have a
Exactly.
positive, fulfilling, graceful, merciful, and loving life. I
Exactly.
love that.
And
I love that.
I thank
I thank
God for
you so
that.
much.
But yeah, be ye angry, but sin not. And most people hear me talk, so I'm not an evangelist. I'm not a missionary, except I am. I go at it a whole
You are
lot differently than most people do.
you're a
Huh?
sharer of the gospel, sharer of the gospel.
Exactly. And that's what keeps me. And I have to admit, at the end of the day, God made it where it was great. But I keep in my mind, I would think they're doing this to other people. They're doing this. I
Yes.
mean, I
Yeah.
mean, Miss Marceline, I cannot I cannot get over how the judge acted. I stepped off of the witness stand and left the court like this. And he was, well, we're not through. I'm like, I am. If you want, why you want to abuse me? Why you want me to sit here and be abused, Your Honor? You've already told me you won't hear nothing I got to say. I raised my hand. I need to go with tears in my eyes. And when I went out, and we went out, and that baby was rubbing his hands. Oh, what happened? Oh, it bothered me so. He left the courthouse screaming and crying with his mother. That's not right.
Mm, mm, mm.
People were looking. He was screaming and crying. And she said, come on, Kristen, come on, come on. And I was like, oh my God. But like I said, I'm sorry about what your story is about your hurt and your pain. But you keep that over there and with them. Don't bring that over here. But it's gospel. And so you got to have that in you to, some
Right.
people don't. I
I,
forgive her. I do. I
well,
forgive her. And I'm glad.
thank,
Look, I
thank
forgive her.
I thank you so much for being our special guest today. I have absolutely loved you. I am so looking forward to your story and book. I cannot wait to read it. You all got some of the information, but she has so much more that she is
Yeah.
actually putting in the book form, and you'll get an opportunity to actually embrace that. And you may have a story of your own where the system has failed you. If you do, contact Whole One TV and let's hear what the system has done and how you can actually give counsel or advice to someone else to make it better. Shirley, I love you. You know I do. I appreciate you. Until next time, Whole Woman TV says we wholeheartedly thank you.
And I love you as well.
Thank you.